Hello guys, so I'm here to make a tutorial for getting started with Unreal Engine 4. I'm doing this tutorial particularly for Unity developers because there are a lot of terms that are analogous to Unity that are in Unreal as well. So this tutorial is already present in Unreal's documentation. You can refer it, but I'm doing this tutorial just to give you a fast crash course idea. And so let's get started with it. Let's first make a new project and make sure you select the blank project so that there are no modules already or no gameplay already. And make sure you have the starter content because the starter content contains a lot of basic meshes like spheres, circular cubes, and cylinders and everything. So let's just name something and let's wait for Unreal to start. Okay, so here we are. By default, there's one level already loaded. You can just go and make a new level and just select default. And this level just has one floor and just a couple of lights, and that's it. So I'm not gonna go through the basic movement in the scene view, but I'll explain you how similar Unreal is to Unity. So let's compare Unreal with Unity. So in Unity, you have a scene view or scene window and a game window. In scene view, you basically see your level and you can move around and place objects and make your level. And in the game view, you can see how the game will look when you start playing it. In Unreal, you don't have two different views, but you just have one viewport. Basically, this is the viewport, and everything you want to place in your level you can do through viewport. And once you hit play, it will start. You can see that the game the game will start in the viewport itself. If you want to start the game in a different window, you can just go and select new editor window and it will start in a completely new window. So that's about viewport. So let's see the next term. In Unreal Unity, you have a project window which will show you all the assets that you have: scripts, materials, sprites, textures, audio, like sounds, and everything. In Unreal, you can see everything in the content browser. So we imported the starter content, so you can see in the content folder there's starter content and there are a couple of folders for different types of assets like textures, materials, particles, shapes, etc. And in Unity, for every scene or every level, whatever the game objects you have in that scene are displayed or listed in the hierarchy window. In Unreal, it's called as the world outliner. So you can see this level has a fog game object, a floor basically. This is the floor, and a light source, a directional light, and the player's default start location, and the skybox itself. Because of the skybox, you can see the sky and the default environment around you. Like you can see if I disable it, the sky disappears. And there is also an ambient light which is present everywhere, which has no direction. And so basically this is the world outliner. And as you can see, whenever I'm selecting a different game object, uh, there's a details window which has different attributes attached to that game object, or different attributes of the game object itself. So this details window is analogous to the inspector window in Unity. So that's about the editor and the editor window. But what about the terms like game object, components? So I'll get started with that in a moment. So Unity has different names for its different types of assets or elements in the engine. You can see a list of comparative, like analogous elements or terms in Unity and Unreal in the documentation itself. So you can see that the gameplay types and the editor UI, and what this is what I have discussed just now, and other things as well. You can go through that. And I also told you guys how the assets are stored in the project in Unreal. So one thing I forgot to mention is whatever assets you have except codes or like scripts, everything goes in a content folder. Whereas if it is scripts, it goes in a folder called as source, which has just the scripts or the solution, like the Visual Studio solution. So this thing is different in Unreal, and the source folder is showed as C++ classes in content browser in the Unreal editor. So apart from that, so how is in Unity you store a level as a scene, whereas in Unreal it is stored as a map file, and the map file has details about the different objects in the level and lighting data and other particular settings, which is like almost similar to what Unreal and Unity's scene file stores. So in Unity, we have game objects, and I was referring to all the objects in the scene till now as game objects. But in Unreal, these are referred as actors. So every object in the scene or in the world is an actor. And similar to Unity, every actor has a component, and you might know that every script is also a component in Unity. It's just inherited from the basic component class, and eventually Unity has a mono behavior class, and every script that you attach to a game object is extended from mono behavior. So in Unreal it is not the like that. Every object in the game is called as an actor, and it has several components attached to it. And in Unity you can't move different components around the world, but in Unreal you can. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys how to make one single like empty game object. So this window here is modes window, and you can, it has a lot of different features which we are not going to require right now, but I'll just go and explain you the basic uh, use of this window. So here's an empty actor. You can just drag and drop just like Unity in the scene, and then you can see the actor has appeared in the world outliner. You can name it as anything, say my actor or my game object, and then you can see that it just has one default component as default screen root. Now if you want to add different components to it, you can go ahead and just the way they have explained in the tutorial, I'm just gonna go and explain you how to do add a mesh to it. You can just go and add a static mesh to it, and just once you have that static mesh, just go in its properties and select some mesh, and you have it, and then just scale this, and let's say this is a pillar that you have in your game. So there is that. say if you want to add a particle system to it, in the tutorial there it's shown that you can make a candle. And let's make candle again. So you have a particle system, and then you can just go and take a fire particle. So you can see that every component is at the center location of the actor's pivot point, or the center. You can move every single component around within the, it's like in Unity you have nested game objects, and you can move every child game object respective to the parent game object. Here it's components respective to the actor. So you can see that I have moved my particle system at the top, and if you want to see it, you can just disable some things. You can see it. Oops. All right. Let me okay. Let me get rid of the default player start, because it's making me start at that location. And now you can see that if you don't have any player controller in the game, Unreal by default adds a pawn, kind of a pawn class object. Pawn is basically a way to represent objects, that actors or game objects that move around the level, which we will get to next later. And so you can see that in the game the candle is working. So this was about creating a game object and adding components to it. Now let's get started on creating prefabs like in Unity. Now in Unity you have prefabs which are like templates, and you can use these prefabs to create multiple instances of one type in your scene. In Unreal they are called as blueprints. So let's create a blueprint, and let's first create a, as we want to create a blueprint of our candle, let's select that, and you can just go and in the details window you can see blueprints or add script. So you can select that, and it will just show you a window, and it will give a default name to that blueprint. You can rename it, say my candle blueprint. Now you can select different folders here, or create a different folder and then just add to it. So once you save that, you will see a new window is opened, and this window is basically a blueprint editor window. You can edit your blueprints here, and this will automatically show up to all the instances created from this blueprint in your game. So right now we don't need this, so I'm just gonna close it, and you can see in the content browser your new flow folder is here, and the our blueprint is also here. So I'm just gonna select this blueprint and drag and drop in our level, and there would be multiple instances of our candle. So as you can see, there are like 4 different candles burning at the same time. Just is it's that easy. So that's about it, guys. This is the basic editor tutorial for Unreal, and the next tutorial would be on scripting in Unreal using blueprints and C++. So hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and do share it with your friends. And if you have any doubts, or if you want me to explain something else, do mention it in the comments. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video.